Stop biting your tongue. Stop hiding behind masks and perceptions and ideas and things of that nature. Be real. Unfilter yourself.
Why can't that be keeping it real?
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is me, Uncle Kev, and welcome to episode 8, the finale of season 1 of B. I am extremely excited to be here tonight with some of life's most promising educators. Dare I say, I put them against anybody. Yeah, they like that. And then my good sis E, who's behind the camera, is also one of those, a phenomenal educator. So at any time, E, you want to chime in. But this is episode 8, the season finale. I am in love with the fact that I made it to this point. I doubt myself a lot, so I don't always give myself permission to go far. And I gave myself permission to go all the way. So I'm extremely excited about tonight's conversation. So we're going to get started, and I am going to introduce the folk that are sitting with me to my, what's this, my right? Yeah, and I'm somebody, educator, right? To my right, my bro.
What's that? There's the B&D.
We got Mr. I don't want to call you by your last name.
They don't call me that anyway. So.
What they call you at school, bro?
They call me either. There's no Mister. I say my dad is Mr. Frelin. You know, he got a wife and kids. I don't got any of those things.
So they just
they call me Frelin. They call me Twin.
Okay, so we got Mr. Twin. No, Mr. We got Twin or Frelin.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
You good?
Yeah. Guy right here. He is in the field of college and career readiness. Been an educator for how long, bro?
Probably about 10 years.
You old young boy. No, bro, but it's a pleasure having you. And I'm intentionally not saying certain things because it's gonna come out in the way you express. For sure. You know, whatever. And then we have my good sis, Kim, Miss Garvin is what they call her.
Yes.
Who is a world-renowned,
You stupid.
world-class educator. How long have you been teaching?
Close to 20 years.
Oof. And it shows.
Shut up.
Can I tell y'all, in her classroom,
Oh, okay.
I walk in and I feel like I gotta be a student because dare I do anything outside of the sort of being anything other than a Garvinite. I'm in trouble. Nah.
That's so funny.
And then we got my bro Lance. What they call you at school, bro?
Mr. Goodwin.
Mr. Goodwin. So Mr. Goodwin at the table, bro. How long you been in education, bro?
Man, this 9 years now.
So 9 years, 10 years, almost 20,
Right.
and then 13 for me. This is year 13. So yeah, y'all, let's talk about this. A lot of years, right?
Yeah.
A lot of experience amongst the. E, how about you? How behind the camera we got the best music, y'all. Do y'all remember?
Fire.
What's the episode? It was an episode of Cosby Show when Denise wanted to be a teacher, and then she went to volunteer at Olivia's school, and the math teacher was teaching them math through music. Well, this is E. E is the music teacher. E is the music teacher. Every district school needs a replica of her in the school.
Nice.
How long you been in education, E?
This is my 10th year.
10th year. Because ain't nobody got time to be playing about black people in front of black kids nowadays. Is that real and is that freaking awesome? I'm excited. I'm really excited. Because education is something I'm very passionate about. And I didn't always think so, right? I hated education as a student. But now I value it as an educator, right? And oftentimes, people don't think we know what we're doing. They don't think educators of color really make the field what it should be. And I'm trying to be politically correct, and I'm trying to be nice. But again, this is my show, and if they are offended, oh, well, tune into somebody else's. But the truth of the matter is that Black educators, more specifically black male educators, are a rarity, and it's not often that we find ourselves in spaces in the academic realm where we are the actual educators. Most of the time, we are the disciplinarians, and then
sure.
the black women in the building, in their most nurturing selves, still have to fight very hard to be seen as adequate when it comes to their white counterparts. So I got some stuff that I'm going to kind of like jig with, but I do kind of want it to be like a very honest and authentic conversation, right? Kim laughing because she get on my nerves. All right. So I read this quote: one of the most powerful supports a school can give a student of color is a teacher of color. True or false?
True.
In your experience, can somebody like expound upon that? Why? How is this true to you? And think about when you're answering this question, you can think about your experience as a student as well, because I think it's applicable. I think it makes sense.
I think if nothing more, just the fact that you see someone that looks like you. Representation matters. And because you look like me, there's a really, really good chance that you know some of the stuff that I might be dealing with. And you're going to make that a safe space for me to share that with you, void of any judgment that I might get from someone else who, although might care about my situation, may not necessarily be able to connect and understand without placing judgment. And even if they don't say judgmental words, they posture it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that posture, microaggressions, all of that
Yeah,
comes
Right.
out.
yeah.
And like bias is inevitable. It's going to come out.
Yeah.
And so the thing is to be aware of your biases, right? And once you're aware of your biases, you'll be able to regulate, check them, and move forward and making sure you're doing what's best for the students as well as the communities, the families that you serve.
Yeah, and to that point, with even so, from two standpoints. One, as an educator, one of my students said just yesterday. He said, I appreciate the black men in this room right now because you give me like what a black male should look like, right? Because I don't have that, and I was saying to myself like, okay, cool, right? But even as one thing that I have said to my students is, it's my job to introduce you to people who look like you and who also don't look like you, because you need to feel comfortable in both spaces. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to educating them, I think seeing someone who looks like them or similar to someone in their family that they like are missing or have, so when they're in that space, they're like, okay, I feel comfortable because I know Frelin, like that's the big bruh, right? Like, so talk to me as such, right? But just like Miss Kim was saying, like it's the way that you posture it. It's like, you don't have to have I think what comes from our counterparts is that the mindset is I can reach them, but they have like that savior mentality.
Yeah.
These kids, or we got to help them. They don't need help. They need assistance. You don't have to save them.
Right.
They've been through some things already. That's like
Right.
they can tell you about you. Like,
Right.
So
Right.
and they read it. They read it. So they know when you're coming. Like, nah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking about your job description and what you do with your students. I wish I had that when I was in school,
Correct.
right? Especially from a black male educator, right? And you talking about how they don't need your help, they need your assistance. Mm-hmm. Man, it's so many things I think about in my career growing up, how I played it safe because I didn't have the support, right? If I had the support and had somebody right there to lean on and coach me, right, I probably would have been doing something totally different than what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Not to say that what I'm doing right now, I'm not enjoying. I enjoy my job. I promise you that,
sure.
right? But at the same exact time, like I played it safe a lot
You would
because
have had options.
I would have had way more options.
If we had,
I avoided white people.
If we had us's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
in the classroom, we would look differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, that's not to say that, where we are isn't where we are supposed to be.
Right.
But again, you have options. And our kids need that.
Yeah.
100%.
I told my kids, like, I'm very transparent, and I work with high school students, so I feel like I'm obligated to be completely honest with them.
Yeah.
If ever in a position to do so, right? And I'm the only black male educator in the building, right? And until maybe 2 weeks ago, the only black male, period, right? I shared with them, like, I only took this job because there was no black men here. I could do my work anywhere.
Right.
I had
Yeah.
offers
Right.
and options
Right,
to
right,
do my
right.
work anywhere. Not because I wanted to have those options, but because there were white folk who knew the power of my work who could make moves, right?
Right.
But I only took this job because there were no black men here. And without that, you guys don't get to see yourselves. So
Right.
then the white people continue to create the narratives for you, and I can't have that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I cannot have that.
And because
it-
they don't see
exactly.
anything else, and they believe. They
Exactly.
believe.
So, and then it becomes a struggle of sorts, because now I not only have to, as a student, without that representation, right? I now have to conform to the biases and then
Right.
what's the word I'm looking for? The things that are being shaped around me from people who don't have a glimpse of what I actually
Right.
am, or where I come from, or
Right.
things of that nature. And it's very, very, very evident in schools, no matter where they are. It's very evident the lack of black educators in school, and how that equates to the lack of, I don't want to say that black students don't perform well because there are no black teachers, but the lack of proper care and nurture that our kids get automatically from us, simply because there's an association in skin color.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like setting expectations, high expectations.
Right.
And if you already think lesser of me, right?
Right.
Your expectations of me are going to be low,
Yeah.
Right.
and my performance is going to be low.
And God forbid, God forbid, I find this intrinsic voice and I begin to assert, assert myself in that manner. Well, now I'm aggressive and, I need anger management because I'm going against the model that's been created for our young black folks.
And it's all about like perception in a sense, right? Because then if you keep telling me that I'm one thing, then at some point I might believe it, right? But then it's also like, it's like the example of if a fish is swimming and they're swimming well, and like, man, you're doing a great job as a fish swimming well, like, but that's what I'm supposed to do, right? And I think we set high expectations of our students because we know the sky is the limit, and other people are thinking, well, oh man, you did good, man. You did well.
It's
Like that's
okay.
great. It's good. That's all right. No, that's not all right for me because I have more for you, right?
No, you're not going to spell it the best
Like,
way
no,
you can.
right.
No,
No. Right.
that's
That's-
not how that's working.
right.
today.
A prime
No,
example.
You're going to look it up.
Right, right.
That's how this
Right.
working. No.
Right.
No, you're going to capitalize.
You're on your phone
No,
with everything
no.
else, so Google it. Prime example. When a student, when I step into a class and I might sub for a quick second, right? I say, listen. First thing I say is, I'm gonna say your name. If I say your name wrong, correct me.
Correct me.
Correct me, because it is your name. Because I know my name ain't easy to say all the time, so I'm gonna tell you how to say it. If you mess it up, I might correct you, because somebody should respect you.
Yeah.
So if it's spelled Nevaeh and I say Nevaeh, nah, it's not Nevaeh. It's Nevia. Bet, my fault. Appreciate you. If I say it wrong again, still correct me.
Absolutely.
And they're like,
No
oh,
joke, because
okay.
why would
And
I
it's
ever be
okay to
happy?
ask, how do you say this?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
How do you say this? Last name English.
I always say the last name.
Right.
If I say your last name, that means I know I'm gonna mess up your first name.
Right,
So
right.
tell me.
Tell me.
But that comes from a place where like it's already it's already been like established.
Yeah.
They already know that she's gonna read my name and she's gonna jack it up, and just because I don't want to hear anybody else, I'm gonna just be like, all right, you could call me T.
Yeah,
And
no.
I'm a rock with
No.
that. But we have to, at the same time that we empower them to correct us for a mispronunciation, we also need to educate them on the social norms that, there's a way that you handle this. Rolling your eyes at me because I didn't put the accent on the right vowel. That's not how.
Okay, Beyonce.
Like, that's not how you going to get me to say it right today.
Right.
Like, we're not going to. No, but there's a way.
Yeah.
Because out there, it's the way.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to teach the way.
Right.
I get mad when students automatically just accept that they can't get their names right.
Oh my gosh.
And then I scream it. And then another thing that pisses me off.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Another thing that pisses me off is that when I hate to say the term they because I hate to be referred to as they, but our white counterparts don't know how to say or doesn't know how to say a student's name, and they say, "Hey, you, young lady, young man, come here," and then they're making demands of a student. Don't ever do that in front of me because I'm gonna say, "Excuse me, what's your name?" And then the kid give me their name. Did he call you that? No. So don't answer until he calls you by your name. And then it's as common as courteous as saying, "Hey, excuse me, what is your name? Young lady, what is your name? Young man, what is your name?" That small little tidbit supports the fact that, okay, I want to learn you enough that before I come at you with a demand, I at least know who you are, right?
But I can't want to learn you enough if I'm already...
Nonchalant.
I don't really care about
If
what
I don't
your
really...
name is.
Right, I don't really
Right.
care about...
Right.
I don't really care about what your name is.
Absolutely.
My
And that-
student loans are paid in 2 years.
how
You know what I'm saying? When you...
That's
I'm
good.
just saying.
That's good.
You.
It's the coffee. You know what? I thought you...
Do that in there.
Right.
I thought you were gonna say that when we were talking about students advocating for themselves, that when they don't advocate for themselves in an academic setting, more so than name, because it's so interesting. I do pullouts, and we were doing open-ended response, and something about Langston Hughes and blah blah blah, shmur, and I said, well, like, how are we going to approach this? Like, you need to at least tell me who he is. Well, they didn't tell us that. I'm sorry, what? So you don't, so.
You don't know about the author you read.
Okay, so before, you can have me ask or answer respond to this question, how about you take the time to give some background. Let's talk about who Langston Hughes is. Let's talk about where the poetry came from. Let's talk about the people during that particular era, and then how that can help to impact your response.
Absolutely.
Make him teach you, is what I said.
Right.
You make him teach you.
But the thing is, a lot of those educators perhaps didn't know or don't know who those significant figures are.
That's true,
And
because if
why
you just get
we're needed.
PowerPoints with stuff,
Exactly.
Right.
Right, teachers pay teachers real fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the
if you
same
just
time,
reading this,
Listen.
you just, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
No,
you.
that's
Like,
real.
teachers pay teachers, it is what it is. And sometimes,
I
like, some
wasn't even
people get
talking about
lazy.
that. I was talking about other stuff, but
That's just one way. That's just one
Right.
way.
right,
But, like,
because there are multiple PowerPoints
you know what I'm
that
saying?
folks
But
can
culturally
get.
relevant material
Right.
is necessary, right?
Right.
And so you have to teach the skills, right? So that are transferable, that they can apply to whatever area of life they go in, But at the same exact time, be able to empower them. One way that they're going to be more motivated to study that material or really grasp that whatever that skill or whatever that learning objective is for that day,
Right.
or for whatever that lesson is, whatever that assignment is calling for, right? They're going to be much more engaged if they have a cultural attachment to it,
Right.
Right.
Recognizing how significant he is to our culture, how significant he is to writing in general, right? And thinking about all of his pieces, how much he's contributed to society. That motivates them to want to know more. That motivates to know.
Right.
That empowers them in a sense because they see a reflection of themselves within that piece. It's more than just text. It's more than just a writing skill. It's more than just a standard alignment, right? It is actually a piece of myself, a piece of my history, my bloodline in a sense, right? Right. This Negro speaks of rivers. You see what I'm saying? So when you think about that, okay, all right, cool. Now it becomes a part of me.
Means something.
It
Right.
means something.
Means
Right.
something more.
Right.
Great. So let me ask this. In truth, right? In truth, why do you feel, or what do you feel is behind schools' apprehension or carelessness in giving students of color some cultural relevancy in their content? Why do you think that there's a lack of that
I think,
in the building of systems?
and this is just right off the top, just pushing skills. Just pushing skills. Standard alignment, test-driven data, right? At the same exact time, missing a larger picture, right? Both of them are equally important.
Yeah.
For sure.
Both of them are equally important. And so I think we need to teach beyond the text.
Yeah.
For sure.
See what I'm saying? Teaching to the whole person rather than just a test, rather than just a paper, right? Making sure that they, it's not that a lot of students don't like to read. They don't like what they're reading.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they are more interested in what they are reading, then perhaps they'll develop those skills that we want that are transferable once again to any space. See what I'm saying?
To a degree, I think. To a degree.
Talk to him.
I feel like, I mean, I teach from a place of you need to know this. Period. I don't really care if you don't like this passage
I hear you.
today.
I hear you.
But you have to read this.
Absolutely.
One, because I need to know that you can. We need to build stamina because right now it's like 7 minutes and you still up and walking around. And this is what you have to do. You got to do stuff you don't want to do. So we're going to do this today. Boom. And then tomorrow we'll do something that you might like. But I just come from a place of we need to do this because you have to learn this because we're going out there and you
Yeah.
have to be prepared.
Right.
And
You
that's-
have to be prepared.
But the beauty in that is they know that they'll get that from Ms. Garvin's classroom, but they're not going to go next door and get that,
No.
right? So, what about the schools that don't have Ms. Garvin, right?
Right.
So how do we express to students of color the importance of exactly what it is that you are displaying in your classroom when there are no U's? And I think that's the bigger problem. Like, there's not enough of what you say, us.
So let's
There's
think
not
about
enough
that, right?
Us
Let's think
is.
about that.
Right.
So if I don't know it, I'm gonna avoid it. And I'm thinking that to a non-black educator, maybe thinking the same exact thing. If it's unsafe, I'm just gonna avoid it altogether. See what I'm saying? And just do what I know what's best. Know what I know is gonna work. I'm gonna do what I know that's gonna help me keep my job. You see what I'm saying?
But
And so
for
that may be the case.
It's true. And the other thing you mentioned was going back to the standards and the testing. And while there's a curriculum and you have to follow it and we have to do this in this amount of time and there's really no time to do anything other than, and so this is where we are and boom, that's it. And then if I don't really know too much about the content, because
Incompetent teachers.
Yo, bro, like they exist, bro.
They do. No more warm bodies. But if I'm not comfortable with the material, then I'm gonna avoid it. And there's no push. There's no push from administration to hold teachers accountable for the shit that they don't know. Like, you don't know it. Like you don't know it, and
yes.
it's obvious.
And it's also
It's
obvious.
obvious.
Administration don't know it either, so that's why there's no push from administration for teachers to know it.
Because certain things take precedence, and
True story.
if that shit that they don't know don't matter with this metric, well then don't nobody care about this.
Yeah.
But us,
But even,
Right.
listen,
because we need it.
yeah, even if it's like, because I don't get it
I'm
right
sorry,
every
can you-
time.
you say
I don't get it right
shit,
every time.
Yes.
You said it. It's already out there, man. Don't bleep it out either. Don't even bleep it out, man.
Yes, you can.
So listen,
just-
as an educator, I don't get everything right. And even if I teach something wrong as the Dickens, man. Right? I sound like my grandma saying that. But if I teach it wrong, I'm going to correct it. It's okay to make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Some mistakes are way more out of pocket. Like that lady, I don't know if y'all saw a video. She was pretending to be a Native American. She was hopping.
Smooth
Out of pocket, right? But like there's like some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be in this profession at all, right? But if it's something like, for example, a skill or a word or something that you taught wrong, right? Perhaps you just didn't prepare the best way. And it happens.
Yeah.
Woes of teachers, right? It happens, right? But the thing is to be vulnerable, right? And let your students know, I make mistakes.
You said it, that's your heart. But here again, I'm posturing.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Yeah.
And because I know I'm not wrong. Even when I'm wrong.
Oh, I make mistakes
I'm not
in front
wrong.
of my child, my kids all the time.
All the time.
Well, yeah,
all the time.
I'd be like,
because
"Oops."
your heart, exactly.
My fault,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Right.
That's incorrect.
Right.
That's not the capital.
Right.
It's a culture
Like my
of
bad,
mistakes.
right?
Mistakes are accepted.
And here's what I love about the dynamic of just even the people at this table. Like, what you guys are doing inside of the classroom supports what now Mir can do in his office in preparing students to take what they're learning here, and then in my world as an administrator to then transfer those things when they leave and go out in the world. So, like, Mir, could you speak to what are some of the most common discrepancies you experience or that you cross when students come into your space to then be exposed to, possible post-secondary solutions for them outside of school?
Okay, so now we're working with like alumni advising, right? So I work for an institution where I'm the alumni advisor.
Okay.
Done this work before, so did higher ed for a minute and did like recruitment. So telling students you should come to this school when I know good and well you shouldn't come to this school. and I was telling students like, listen, if this doesn't work for you and your family, these numbers look crazy, right? Yeah, look, Mr. Ferland, we just trying to. All right, if this doesn't work for you and your family, don't come here. They're like, can you say that? I said it. So I don't know if I can say it. I still got a job, but they're aware of how I feel about this, But then you graduate from here? I sure did. My loan wasn't like that. My academic situation was different than yours, right? So my whole situation was different, right? Like we know, that whole situation was different. But when you get into those spaces and you're like, well, how did you get here? Because when I first started doing the alumni stuff after I left higher ed, because I was like, I'm over it. Higher ed admissions, I'm over it. I don't want to do it. The money wasn't really right anyway either. So I was like, cool. I want to get back into the schools where I can support students before they get to this point. Because once they're here, it's like, you're here, so what are we going to do? I'm not going to tell you just to go home, because if you just took out $15,000 in loans, we got to do our best to get as much education in whatever it is that you want to do. I'm not saying you got to get straight A's. I'm saying educate yourself on what it is that you want to do, right? Because they'll come to me and they say, I'm like, how did you come here? Because this money didn't change from 2 months ago.
Right.
And, you come into programs where you come in late as opposed to, the senior cohort I'm working with now, before they graduate, they got to come through me. So let's really have a conversation, right? But the ones that I had beforehand or that already left, and now I have to, I'll be honest, I lost my job when I was working in Trenton for this school, right? And I don't care if they see this, but my principal at the time, dope. She and I created this alumni program. And she's a principal in Philly now, right? She's always trying to grab me like, yo, you got to come with me. So my job was to get 5 students re-enrolled. This was after my principal left. Somebody else moved in. Oh, so you need to get 5 students re-enrolled into college. Okay, great. Let me ask you some follow-up questions. Right. What about the 5 students who y'all sent to schools that they couldn't afford? So now they got to take out $15,000. So you want me to tell them to take out $15,000 just for the year, just to get back to be a freshman again, and then take another 4 years of $15,000 every year? Do the math.
Right.
I'm getting sick and tired of people telling me, oh, they're a great student, though, so they should be able to. When does great and school loans couple?
Right.
It never marries, right?
Right.
So don't tell me that. $5,000 isn't a lot of money to who?
Exactly.
Right.
If I'm working with low-income, first-generation college students,
It's a grip.
Who's $5,000 not? $5,000 is a lot to me.
Right.
And I have a college degree, regardless.
Right.
Right? So the discrepancies that come about are they didn't support us. I wanted to go to an HBCU. I feel like they didn't support me there. They only want me to go to the schools that they know about. Frelin, does this really make sense? Like, no. But then it's also about the way that you talk to these students, right? Because I can tell them, like, look, HBCUs, look, historically, the funds isn't always there.
Right.
But let's also take it a step further. What HBCUs are you looking at?
Right.
Oh, I want to go to Spelman. Oh, Spelman's an HBCU with a PWI price tag.
Yeah, 40.
I want to go to Hampton. Okay. Do you know
45.
about University of or Alabama A&M? You don't know about Tuskegee? No, you don't, because you only know the brand name, so y'all running after those. But you can
Right.
go to an HBCU that's probably going to give you a load of money.
Right.
But since you don't know about those, who's telling them about that?
Yeah.
If there's no one who looks like us in those spaces who really support it,
Don't know.
Right.
you don't know. So where it comes down to is, hey, Frelin, is this the right move? Listen, no, right?
Right.
I mean, there's so much now that I'm like, man, alumni advising is different. Like I was just telling you when I got here, man, I'm tired because I came in from DC on Monday at 7:30, jumped in the shower and was back at the school by 9:00. I could have took a day off, but nah, let me tell y'all what they were saying about DC. Like, because we have students at Georgetown and Howard. Georgetown's pretty. Howard's going through a protest. But let's talk about, though, how do you feel about Georgetown, though? It's nice. But I kind of feel like I might want to come home. One thing, and this is the last thing I'll say to this point, what they're not talking about is, and I told my students this year, we're definitely going to touch on it, because I don't really teach them until the last quarter of the year, last couple months, when we talk about the transition. What's the PWI experience like for a student who goes to a school that's all black and brown? They're not talking about that. No. I said, so let's talk about it, because I was that student. So we're going to talk about it. Yeah. You got to talk about it.
You got to, man. I think those types of conversations are very important. And again, I feel very strongly in saying that those types of conversations only come from us, right? So, like, I want to ask this question, right? And I want to ask this question hoping that you guys will be completely honest about this experience if you've had one, right? So, has there ever been a time, has there ever been a time where you felt you had to almost step outside of character just to prove your worth as an educator of color in your academic spaces? Like, ever had to prove your worth as an educator of color?
I don't know if I had to prove my worth, but I definitely felt like there was a time where I had to prove that I know what I'm doing, that I'm good at what I do, right? Because just because you went to college doesn't mean you understand what goes on this side of the table. So don't tell me that those same things, that a student is really, really good, so they should be fine. How do you fix that, right? But then you come into my space and you say, and I'm being honest, I'll leave certain specifics out. People come into my space and say, oh, you should be doing this, and I feel like you should go and do this. Time out. What makes you think I didn't already think of that? Right. So instead of calling you back and giving you all the information, I'm going to go do my work because I know I'm good at it. And then I'm going to call who I need to call. Hey, listen, this is what I'm talking about. And then that person who's higher up, look, this is your lane. I'm going to let you do what you do. Just keep me in the loop. Bet. And then I just put everybody who got their hands in it, I'm going to put all y'all in the email. This is what I've done.
I love those emails.
And then those individual emails that they sent out, please refer to the other email. I appreciate your concern. Thank you.
Per our last email.
I think it took me a minute to figure it out, but like my thing was
I don't know
what happened?
No, go ahead.
Nothing.
my
We
fault.
listening.
So look. I had You ever like been in a space where, like they like you're good at this, and they just make you do everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
It's
become
not
that
too
guy.
much. It's not too much for you because you're good at this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so
Right.
No compensation.
yeah,
but just do the work?
yeah. Just throw it on you.
Right.
You know, so there was this one school I was at, and that's exactly what happened. Like I found myself in the classroom. I found myself covering recess. I found myself coaching teachers. I found myself becoming that black male disciplinarian. Right? And then like you're really good. You can control these kids. You can make them do things that I can't make them do. And then I became the scary black guy with a beard.
Yeah.
And that's not even what you signed up for.
And that is not what I signed up for. And so it's like, you do these things well, but you really do this well.
yeah.
Because we
Right.
don't have a scary black man in this building,
Facts.
but you're our guy. So, and then checking, hey, looking at all of our culture team, every single last one are big, black, bearded men. They can control these kids. And so limiting black people just to the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the spaces that we've always been in.
Like
I don't understand that.
And
But
we're so beyond it.
we are so beyond
sure.
that, right?
For sure.
We have people that have credentials that can run in school, to be the
What?
CEO.
Yeah.
And don't even have to.
Yeah.
Look,
You know
we
what I'm
could do
saying?
it without the credentials, bro.
And you got people without the credentials that's doing it.
Right.
No
You see what I'm
facts.
saying?
Hey, my
But you
name's
got people with
Mr.
credentials, but like, listen, I think you should do
Yo.
this well, right? And it's because the powers that be, especially in the charter school,
Yeah.
right? The powers that be, they hobnob, they kiss toes, and they do everything they need to do to maintain those positions of power, right? And then the people that are actually competent and well able to do well beyond what they are called to do, they don't get any type of play because they have a limited perspective because of
what we can do.
what we can do,
Right.
where we come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, bro, check the records, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a lot of places, like even if myself or advocating for others, like, nah, that's beyond you. No, make them go sign it. No. Listen,
Right.
consider your worth.
Right.
As a black male educator, like you're a unicorn. You're
Facts.
a unicorn. No, more.
Right.
More. Never settle for less.
Burnt
Absolutely not. Right? And then it takes, as I'm becoming a veteran at this point, right? I'm old, man. Dang. But anyway, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people come to me, and I found myself like, I'm the old head. I'm the oldest one on this floor. Oh no, like what? Because a lot of them, they don't last.
Yeah.
Right? Teach for America 2 years. They probably stay that third year, live mid-year, go work for the Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? And then now I'm like, oh, I'm the old head guy. All right, bet. Nope, more, absolutely not. Right? And then he's like, yo, stop settling for less. They doing too much. Like, and I found myself coaching people, and I'm like, I ended up leaving because I was the opposition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is either you become the opposition, right, advocating for others, or you become in leadership, right? And then I don't want to be in leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not where I want to be, right?
Right.
But at the same exact time, because I found myself much more useful in the classroom. See what I'm saying? But they look at that as like, oh, well, you're less than, right? Oh, you can't do this. You do this well anyway. So it's like not even that, but like, yo, bro, let me study my course. Let me run my course. You feel me? Instead of like you funneling me into these different areas that you think a person should be because of your perception of them. See what I'm saying? And so that's where it becomes a problem. That's where you find yourself like challenging the powers that be, challenging the status quo, challenging white people in a sense.
Kim, you ever had to be angry black woman?
Look at the
For
face.
being towards
At
like
work? Yeah.
not so much to prove my worth. Not that. I think I always find myself struggling to I don't know what I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that I've struggled with in the last year, but there's always like like a target for my job. You know, and I don't know if it's the relationship, or not even the relationship. I don't know if it's the expectations that I place on students. I don't know if it's me or those expectations being misunderstood. I don't know if it's, you know, as petty as you just want to be me, but you can't. I don't know if it's we don't, you know, parents complain because they don't understand, and well, we don't want them to complain, and so we're just gonna, you know, chastise you. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But God keeps me there. And so
because his bigger picture isn't there, so
it's not
and it's
there,
only
right?
For you to understand,
right?
And I think knowing, and I'm gonna speak to it a little bit. I think knowing your style as an educator, you are very. You need to know this. You are that, right?
Yeah.
And I think, no, I know for certain most folk, especially when we used to work together, most folk are intimidated by the power you have to actually create change. And because they can't do that, it is a ding on you because you have a one-up. And black folk never supposed to have that.
This is true.
You feel what I'm saying?
Well, if they knew who I knew and served
right,
him,
but that's the
then
thing. They don't, and they don't, so they won't.
don't,
You
and
get
they
what I'm
won't.
saying?
That's
So,
right.
like, I
Right.
remember a particular time at this particular place,
Right.
where I was at my wit's end. We were all in this space for the first time.
Right.
And I was at my wit's end, and I remember you pulling me in the staff lounge, and we prayed in there, right? And we made a declaration to each other that, like, aside from all of this, we know who we belong to.
Right.
And we know what we have to do, and we know why we are here, and this is why we are here. And then not too long after that, I was given a self-contained classroom with 7 boys that no white teacher in the building wanted to teach. Right? And I mean, not for nothing. We know those boys, so like we don't. but I was left, like, I was pulled into this secret meeting that we're gonna up your pay by this amount if you can do this thing for us, because they listen to you, right?
Right.
Not could you help us create a system that our teachers could use to implement so that they aren't isolated?
Because they're the Band-Aid. Like, we're
right. Let's just pull them all together.
Right.
And the moment I made gains, why? Because you're not about to ask me to do something for you and then tell me how to do it.
Right.
You pulled me because you knew that I had what it takes, right?
Right.
So forget student A, who's 200 and something pounds in 5th grade, that's trying to challenge me as a full-grown black man, telling me to get the F out his face. No, you get the F out my face, right? Forget the fact that he threw a chair at me. Oh, and I'm throwing it back. And then mom calling me. Oh, but mom, do you not understand your son lives in a city that's, at the time, number 1 murder capital in the country? And that if he pushed, and I said, if he pushed a nigga outside on the streets, he not coming home to you at 11 years old. Right. I saved your son's life by pushing him in my classroom today.
Right.
And then for future references, mom, just tell him not to try me again. Like, that's all I require.
Right.
And then I'm here to teach your son, right? And the moment we made gains, they took him from me.
Sure.
And I don't mean took him from me and put him back in regular population, sent them to a whole different school.
That's
right?
backwards.
Right.
And those things are forever embedded in my head because those kids are like, now Mr. Gold is another one of the people who gave up on us.
Right.
Another one of the people who let the system get us, right? And then it was so malicious that they told me I couldn't go visit them.
Bro.
On my prep time, bro. When I ain't got to do nothing for y'all, I can't get in my car and drive 3 minutes down the street and go check on my boys. No. We don't want to send the wrong messages.
And then I gotta go.
You feel what I'm saying? So I didn't stay after that.
Yeah, like that's
And no, matter of fact, no, I would have stayed. I was forced transferred. I don't think you ever knew that.
I did.
I was forced transferred.
Yeah, I did. I remember that.
Yeah, but those are the things that kind of plague us as black educators. I think we become the intimidation factor because we are never supposed to be here.
And you know what else too? You move. I move. I know I move differently,
Mm-hmm.
and I know when you know who you are, you move differently
For sure.
And
As you should.
and I know who running this.
Right. It's a
Are
different
you
level of
just
confidence.
sitting
Right.
there?
Like-
Because this was a conversation we had today, and it's really, really like kind of not hijacked, but you know, Maya said, you know, they show you who you are, you believe it.
Right.
So we in the calf. No, never mind.
I was waiting for this story, man.
Never mind.
Now I'm all hyped,
ready.
like, please.
No, I just
You know what, Kim? Call me after this. And
I
then
will.
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna call
them.
you after this and tell you. Cause somebody gonna make sure my baby okay. How we get him in the building?
Oh, to come in here?
Yeah, or how
We
to?
just open the door.
Okay.
So he's the. I'll go get
I
him.
don't know if he's. Where should he walk towards? Walk down the parking lot. Somebody gonna open that door. Okay, thank you so much.
If I could say
down.
one thing I thought was pivotal between your conversation is how you two express something that happens, I think, universally across all Black communities, and where they're the minority, is that they rely or gain a dependency upon each other, right? Sticking together. Like the fact that she was able to pull you in and pray with you, right? Whatever that coaching may have been, whatever that inspiration may have been, right? Black people relying on each other as a source of comfort and solace, right? And like, listen, you're not in this by yourself,
Yeah.
right?
But
Because
you know
sometimes you
that-
become wary.
Right.
But I'm only really praying with you if I know you know God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but even
I'm
if
not-
it's not, that's why I say
I'm
it's
not
just prayer,
casting my
though.
pearls amongst
Even if it's not just prayer, though. Like, even if it's not just prayer, right? Like, listen, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I see you, right? You're not
Right.
alone. Whatever that coaching is, rather if it's just prayer or coaching, like, now, listen, the place I'm at now, my principal prays for me, right? Not only that, like, he came to me and was like, listen, that's one of the reasons why I came there.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
This guy legit says, listen, I thought about you this morning. I prayed for you. And I'm like, whoa,
Right,
bro,
right.
that's everything I
Right,
need,
right,
right?
right.
Even in like dependent, like, what do you need from me? How can I support you? Is it extra support with this, extra support with that? Is it inspirational text in the morning? How can I support you? You see what I'm saying? Teaching, recognizing that we are human. Teachers
And it's
don't get
sincere.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
it's
Teachers do not
sincere.
have an opportunity to be human.
It's sincere.
But when
like
you recognize
just
humanity-
not sending text messages because
Right.
you know you
feel like it's an obligation.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
I care
like
about
you
you.
really
Yeah.
sincere.
I care about you.
So at my workspace now, we had, yesterday was our first one. We have an affinity group, and it's for, well, we're still trying to see where it's going, but it's more so right now for Black people, and it's a space where we all support one another, right? And the individual who put it together, he was a part of my hiring for this institution, and I was like, gave him his flowers yesterday. I'm like, yo, listen, because I remember when you were on this interview, and one of the things
Okay.
he said to me was, man, if you ever need anything, let me know, right? And there was a situation that happened at school. I was a little out of pocket, unintentionally, right? Completely unintentionally. When it came out, I was like, oh, okay, I see it. But he had said to me, he was like, yo, you're going to be good. I said, you sure? Because, man, I don't know, I'm nervous. He was like, nah, they know your worth. They know they need you. Even the recommendation I got for this job was from a former employee, and he said, listen, they need you. They need someone like you to come in there and do what you do. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you left. So don't tell me to go there. You left there. He was like, nah, some things are changing though. Some things are changing. But they could use you. They could use someone like you to really talk to these students because they're not really getting it yet. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let me just see what this is like. And then in the midst of all of that, meeting all these individuals. Now, I've been in workspaces where I haven't been the only Black male, but when I was at a former school, it was like 4 of us. 3 of us were young, right? My man went back to North Jersey to fulfill his dreams in politics. He's running for mayor right now of the city. So he's super dope, right?
Right.
But then it just left myself and my other bull.
Right.
He's a dean of students. I'm college and career alumni, whatever. Right. But my principal at the time, I remember I was going through some stuff like personal, and she knew what it was. So she looked at me the one day. She said, "You here with us today?" Kind of to your point. She said, "You here with us today?" I was like, Yeah. She was like, "No, you're not." So guess what? Did you call that therapist I recommended? I was like, "Nah, not yet, but I'm getting there, right?" And so she was like, "Okay, so I'm gonna tell you like this. You don't call the therapist, I'm gonna dismiss you until you do." And I'm like, "Come on, man, you playing with my money." Like, all right, I got you. And then in the midst of that, something crazy happened, like right after. And I had to come back to the school, and I called these all the black individuals basically, locked me in my office, and they were like, "Yo, you're going to therapy tonight," because something crazy happened. Yeah. And I was like, that's what I need. Like, I need to be around these people, right? Because there was a team who supported me growing up. Quick situation. Kev knows this. I'm a twin, and my twin passed away on Monday. It will be 15 years, right? So in the midst of that, I saw the person who shot my brother. And I was with a student, like showing her where I grew up. I'm not from Philly. I'm from the burbs. I'm from Bristol. And in the midst of that, they sat me down and was like, "Yo, you can't go back outside." And my school was nowhere near Bristol. But she was like, "You can't go back outside." Like, "Nah, we got you." Same thing happened yesterday. I'm sitting in a room of individuals, and I'm like, a joy moment. So, a few weeks ago, I saw the person who killed my brother again. Walked in my church, and I was supposed to be okay with it, and I wasn't. But I came to work on Monday like it was nothing, but all week, by 11 o'clock, I'm ready to go home because I can't focus. But my guy over here, who was a part of my hiring thing, I just came in his room, and I just started crying. He's like, "Bro, we got you," right? So having that representation, like, you can't, right. I'm grateful.
It's not you can't replicate that.
I'm grateful for this.
Right.
And because I feel like I hear a lot of different experiences, and I'm like, man, even from my students, right? When they're like, Philly this, Philly that. And I'm like, bro, I'm from Bristol. I lived a pretty solid life. I know what it's like not to have this and that. And that's where it comes in when higher ups are like, well, you look like you're the guy with the beard. You could talk to them. Right. Well, let me be honest with you. I can't really relate to what they're going through because my life wasn't really like that. Right. My brother's accident, it gets busy where I'm from, but Bristol is this. Yeah. Their Philadelphia is this. Right. I can imagine, because I would have never thought in 9th grade that what happened in 12th grade would ever happen. They know in 9th grade that I don't want to go home. That's why I stay here at the school. Yeah. I can't talk to that. I can talk with them and let's figure it out, right? But I don't really have that shared I have that one shared experience, right? And that's how Kevin and I first met, in a space talking to young boys, and that was one of the questions.
But it goes to what I was talking about earlier. What is your bias? It's inevitable.
Right.
Being aware of your bias, right? Instead of ignoring it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, don't sit there and think that you're less than, or that you're not able to connect with these guys. You're aware of your bias, right? All those, and it goes to this point. Can white people teach black kids? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely. But you need to be aware of your bias. You need to be aware and continue to adapting that growth mindset. Mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Yep. Absolutely not. You need to grow. You need to mature. You need to constantly be a learner, constantly be a student. Yeah. And who's the biggest student? Experience. These kids in front of you, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's your biggest teachers right there, right? As an educator over these years, my biggest teacher, right, or learning experience has not come from any of the master classes I attended, any of my bachelor classes I attended, any of the conferences I attended. It came from the students. It came from the students. Right. You see what I'm saying? And so they taught me. Like, Kev, I taught at a high school. I had students that were already parents. I learned how to be a father through some of my students.
Talk about it.
See what I'm saying? I learned how to be.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens, man.
Right.
Like, oh man, it's gonna be all right. Oh, she teething. Oh,
Right.
snap. Like, thanks, bro. You know what I mean?
That's what
So,
that is. Okay.
Yeah, all right. That's why that's happening. Oh, it's gonna get over. All right, bet. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So I've been like life, man, and then that's me being vulnerable, being my authentic self.
Right.
They know me, I know them,
Right.
and we're learning together.
That's
man. You
It's
know what I'm
hard.
saying?
It's hard
We're
to be
learning
your
together.
most authentic
Yeah.
self when you know people side eyeing you.
But I got to the
Like,
point where I don't care no more.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the perspective of students.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'm talking
Okay.
from their
Yeah.
perspective. It's hard for him
Yeah.
to be his most authentic self because, they know.
But that's why I thank God that I've been put in a position to kind of like be the rebellious one, because I legit don't care. I do not care how uncomfortable I make you in my truth.
That's your job, though.
And I also don't care how uncomfortable he or she makes you in their truth.
Right.
You need to get it, right? Because your 15 seconds or 15 minutes of discomfort is nothing in comparison to the everyday levels of
Right.
discomfort we and they experience.
Right.
Having to be in a space majority of their daytime full of people who don't look like them, and not only that they don't look like them, have no recollection of what goes on in their real lives outside of school.
Right.
Like, your building can be beautiful, but on the other side of the street is the hood. And this school is one bulletproof window away from a school shootout.
Right.
know
You
what
don't
I'm
even
saying?
have to
Like,
talk about the other side of the street. Your building could be beautiful, but let's talk about what's inside your building.
Exactly.
Right.
The people
We
who
could-
make up the building.
Right, because even internally with a person, right? I could walk around smiling all day and feeling good and feeling great, but inside I'm tore up, right?
Yeah.
But you don't even know the steps to try to not even dig inside, right? Because that's what they tend to do. Like, oh, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't need you to figure it out. I just need you there to support me.
Yeah.
Just be there, right? Be a present. And like you were saying, and that's funny because I tell my students all the time, it is your job to make others uncomfortable. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that? Because let's be honest, they see you, you got your Yeezys on, you don't got no belt on, you got a hoodie on, they already wrote your story.
Right.
Right.
So now it's your job to, when you get in those spaces, make them uncomfortable, because when you start showing them something different, they're confused, they don't understand,
And then they get
they're like, oh,
intimidated.
wait a
Now
minute,
you have
Right.
wait a minute.
problems,
Yeah,
and
good.
now
That's
it's-
exactly where I want you to
Right,
be, right?
right,
You know,
right.
being a student at a PWI and then working for that PWI, you drive around and you see the Porsches and you see everything else. And I was like, well, guess what? I'm pulling up to Chipotle and I got this shirt and tie on. I have a nice car. And when I get out and I get the looks, thank you. That's what I wanted. That's why I'm here. That's why I like nice cars, because I want you to question, well, I wonder what he does. Ask me.
Right.
Or don't. Because
Or
I'm going to be
don't,
offended
right.
and I'm going to tell you, why the you need to know, right? Like, what you do.
Kevin's a little bit more radical than I am.
Right,
I
right,
was
right,
standing there and
right.
just be like, well, let's have a real conversation, right?
I don't care about those kind of
No.
conversations. Mind your business. I got the car. That's all you need to know. So let's get ready to wrap up. But I do want to ask you guys a question. So if there's a black student watching this episode, right? Right.
Don't you hate these type of questions?
What
would you tell them?
Yeah, what do you say to he or she as a black educator? Like, speaking specifically to us, because I'm going to be completely honest. We have to stop making other people comfortable in our discomfort. Like,
A teacher.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't know why my mind went student, and I'm thinking,
Wait,
what am I?
Wait,
gonna-
say the question again.
Exactly.
you are
See,
talking to a
see,
student.
About
You were talking to
You're giving them
Advice.
the
yeah.
student. So what? We were right.
Wait, so
we
I
were
confused
right.
you. What I say?
We thought student,
Mm-hmm.
but then we were listening to you, and we kind of thought that we were talking to an educator, an adult.
Do you need to talk to educators?
No, but
Oh, no,
but
talk to a
that's
student.
what we didn't.
all right,
And-
man.
Talk to a student. You're talking to
Talk
a
to a
student.
student. Kev, you first there.
No.
Oh,
Talk
man.
to a student.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
Okay, so
I want to go before you.
Get on
'cause I
my
feel like she
nerves.
gonna say
No.
something
Because
crazy.
then
I
she go
didn't-
like,
everything
No.
you about to
so,
say.
so
She ready.
and then about to
Ditto.
kill it again.
okay,
Ditto.
Stuck on
Right,
posture.
that's exactly what's happening. What
so
she said.
real talk. you are at least 2 grades behind because we haven't been in a school building in 18 months. So if you a 10th grader, you in the 8th grade. If you 11th grader, you in the 9th grade, and so forth. And I get it. And you might not feel like it, but it is what it is. We see it.
Absolutely.
From academics to behavior, we see it.
Absolutely.
And we really trying to be patient with it. But the thing is, right, like they want what they want, you know, for the numbers. And we see the struggle, and we need you to know that we don't give a about
Say
them.
it.
We
You can
don't
say
care
it.
about the numbers as much as we care about you and what it is that you can do and how successful you are.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to tell you that.
Yeah.
They're going to just let you keep riding it out. And at some point, the wheels going to fall off.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah.
So because of all of that, right? I need y'all to study. I need you to read a book. I need you to make your teachers teach you. I need you to ask a question and then ask a clarifying question.
That's the truth.
I need you to seek the truth all the time, so that you can be better than what the situation is.
That was good.
Yep. Go ahead, Lance.
All right. I guess mine come with a little story, man. One of my favorite students. Right, I got a lot of students. This one kid in particular, he's grown now, man. This kid just had a baby. All right. Anyway, I remember I assigned an essay. Right, it was on manifest destiny, teaching history class. Right, I got 4 students that came back with the same exact essay. They legit Googled the question and they wrote it word for word.
Oh my God.
Word for word. I went on my laptop, plugged it up on this projector. I had those 4 students come in after school, and I just started reading this essay. I was like, I want y'all to read along. Everyone had their own essay. And I just want y'all to read along, right? They was like, oh, snap, we all copied from the same drawer. Oh, snap, right? All 4 of them had them rewrite it. This one kid, he says, I don't care about school. I don't need this. I already know what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a trucker. I'm going to be making this amount of on one trip and this. This kid, I was like, I don't care. All his folks made him rewrite this essay, right? Do it the right way. Learning a skill. I said all that to say, this kid is a successful trucker. Right? Among other business ventures, he has a fleet of cars. Now, renting a fleet of cars. Just had a baby, teaching other people how to do the same exact thing that he's doing. One of the most successful students that I've taught, right? Shout out to you. I ain't gonna say his name, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna show you this video, and I'm shouting you out, bro. But anyway, I say that to students. Follow your passions.
Facts.
I'm a big college advocate, right? I have a lot of college debt at the same time, but it's afforded me like a lot of experiences that I will not trade for the world. Work State University, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, but at the same exact time, follow your dreams. Follow your passion. Don't let nobody tell you no. Don't let nobody tell you no. Yeah. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't.
Right.
You can do all things. I'm telling you, you can do it, man. Do not let anybody tell you no or settle for less than what you know you deserve. Follow your dreams. And it's okay that you know some people know what they want at an early age. Follow it. The biggest thing people always say is like, oh, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to the NBA. I'm making it to the league, whatever. I've known people that had that same dream and that has done it. If that's what you want to do, I got some people that's 30 years old still trying to chase the league. But at the same exact time, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, listen, don't nobody tell you no. Follow it until you fail, bro.
Right.
But at the end of the day, keep trying, man. Yeah. Look at all of those Tyler Perrys. You know what I'm saying? Bezos. You know what I'm saying? Like, the list goes on. Don't let nobody tell you no. Follow your dream. Figure it out. Stick to it. Stick to your guns. Follow your convictions. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be all right. Your turn, bro. Yeah, your turn, bro. Your turn.
You see me sitting all the way back, all the way back, trying to think like, man, how do I follow both of those? Man, for me, if I could say anything, man, one shot plus one message equals me, right? And that's my brother saying. I wear it on this band every day. One shot plus one message equals me, and it meant that he was a straight A student on a full academic scholarship, and he got shot one time, and he passed away 6 months later. And it shows that you don't have to be out there. You could be just doing regular stuff. Right. You know, starter, captain on the soccer team, and everything, right? And I translated his message to like, yo, you have one shot to send one message to somebody, and that represents you. Like, that's exactly what it has to be. And for me, that's my life story. My brother. I only know one person to be, and it's a twin. Right. And that's probably one of the hardest things I had to grapple with as I got older, because it's a different life as a twin now. Right. But man, surround yourself with people that are doing what you're doing, because it's going to make you do better, and find your people. Mm-hmm. And whatever that means and however that looks, find them. Yep. Because we all go through stuff. It doesn't have to be as traumatic as losing a sibling or a loved one. It could be something as traumatic as my lights got cut off the day before I was supposed to move to college. Like, how am I supposed to support my family and be this and that? Right. Find your people. Because when I transferred to Gwinnett Mercy University, I didn't know what I was doing. I just came back home because I wanted to be close to my mom, and I lost the same full scholarship that my brother had because he passed away, and I didn't understand how to move now. Right. As an individual, right? So when I got to Gwinnett, I had to really, really tap in, and I found this phenomenal, I call her an educator, she's now my big sister, Janelle LaRue. I always shout her out every chance I get, and she hates it, but I don't care, because I honestly feel like, you know, without the Janelles, without the Mr. Patterson, who I call my goddad at this point, and he's a middle-aged white man who had my back in high school because he threatened to call my mom. And I was like, oh, I don't care about the grade. I care about you calling my mom. Right. Man, you need a team. There's a team behind everybody, right? And it doesn't matter what it really looks like, but as long as it works for you. And so I challenge anyone, you know, you got one shot to send one message. And you press until everything happens. It always, you know, church is pray till something happens. Right. So I'm going to press until everything happens, because my brother was paralyzed taking college-level classes in Jefferson Hospital while had a trach in his throat. So for me, it doesn't get no worse than that, right? So you use that, and it takes time. It takes time, right? But take your time. Take your time, because it's worth it in the end, whether you want to be a trucker or whether you want to do college and get a master's. To me, it all equates the same. Education is education. Right. You educate yourself on what you want to do. No one said you had to have good grades. That's academics. Right. Education is education. Right. So surround yourself with people that are doing what you're doing, because it's going to force you to do better. And you got one shot to send that one message, and then you press until everything happens once you get it. So. And look.
That was good, bro.
Listen, man, those are like my mantras, because it's real to me, right? Like, it's real. Like, I'm honored. I'm honored to be sitting at a table with illustrious people, individuals, right? Because Kevin and I talk about this all the time. Being from Bristol, I don't want to say I don't get this love, but it's not Bristol's smaller, so it's like we don't have as many people, right? So when I get a chance to sit up here, I'm always like you said, we're always learning. Mm-hmm. We're always learning it. So I'm like, man, this is dope, right? So, but my brother is my story, and it's still one of the hardest things I go through, because so many things have happened from it. And I'm still talking to myself. Those words are not for just them. That's for me. I need to tell myself that. I need to tell myself that, like, yo, you are capable. Right. Like, you are adequate. So, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. No, y'all I don't know what else to say. No, I'll just wrap up with my minute to be, and I'll use my message to the young black and brown student who may be watching this. Like, if I could tell you anything, it would be to be your most authentic self always. Be real, honest, and transparent about your experiences in and outside of the school, and be very clear about what you want and what you need with who you need to be clear with. And make no apologies, make no exceptions. Your story is your story. Your truth is your truth, period. And you own that. And you have the right to be as protective of your truth and your story and your experience as you choose to. Be real. Make noise. Take up space. Be loud. Because sometimes that's the only time they'll choose to hear you, right? But be as soft as you need to be when you need to be too, because sometimes that's the only time they'll choose to hear you.
For sure.
Right? Be accepting of yourself in newness and of other people. Know that the world is yours to have and that God wants to give it to you. And you just have to know that you're deserving of it. Let folk love you. Let folk care about you. Let your educators, more specifically your black sisters, your black brothers who are in positions of power in front of you, right? Let them be who they need to be for you so that you can be who you need to be for you and you can be who you need to be for others.
Respect your classmates.
Come on, bro.
You don't have to like them.
Yes.
But you gotta respect what they bring to the table.
All of that. Yes.
You gotta respect your
Yes.
classmates.
Got to. Because everybody is an equal contributor to your success.
For sure.
Every single person in front of you. Even if they don't make you feel good.
Everybody.
What you learn from them equally contributes to your success.
The cafeteria lady.
What? And speaking of, can we get some grandmas in the kitchen in the cafeteria at the schools?
I just want somebody to act like it ain't their food.
Right? Yo!
Like it ain't yours.
If they want
ain't
extra, give it to them because
It
at
ain't
the end,
yours.
you gonna throw it away anyway.
No, they're gonna take it home.
In bags.
That's all I want. Just act like it ain't yours.
Phew!
Dang.
And that's what it is. And
That made me mad.
I have to. Act like it ain't you. Right.
No,
And we the ones that gotta be the if you're not gonna get your lunch, y'all. I like them. Them mozzarella sticks they give y'all, they go bring them joints.
Go get a lunch for me. I don't want no lunch. Go get a lunch.
Go get it for
lunch.
me. I don't eat them freebies.
Yeah.
You want to give your freebie to me? Go ahead.
You the teacher, you know you could get it.
Right.
Come on.
No, they
I
legit
don't-
won't give it to
yeah.
us. Like, we gotta ask you to get
freebie?
it.
Like, what? I'm not paying for no freebie. It's called a freebie. I paid for no freebie.
Hey, my tax dollars paid for it already. I'm not about to give you
Teachers,
another
I'm not
dollar.
paying
Like,
for
you
no
done lost
freebie.
your mind,
That's
bro.
funny.
And on that note, guys, I have to take this moment to really say thank you. Like,
Thank you.
everybody worked long days today, and everybody had to be people today. We had to learn to be people today, and we are relearning to people again. And in your day, you took time to join me on this platform. Kim, like, we don't get to see each other often.
I know,
we
we
don't
just
get to vibe.
talk all the time,
right.
but we never,
and we
it's
never
like,
get
so,
to, right.
no, we
so,
don't.
and
We
then
don't
the
face
same
them.
with Lance.
I
Like,
haven't seen you since when? The pandemic, when
yeah.
you did Sadiq's graduation.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And then before then was Avery's baby shower.
Yep, sure was.
And she wasn't even here. Isn't that
Nope.
crazy? That's crazy. But still, like, I really like Lance. 9 years in the game, and I remember the conversation we had when you were just getting started. Wasn't even started, and it's beautiful the way we were able to vibe in that one session. Like, how can you not be my brother after that? Like,
because we get called each other everywhere we go.
today, somebody thought you were me and was like, I wanted to say hi, but I wasn't sure if it was you.
Y'all look alike, bro.
That's why I was like, I don't want to sit next to him. So Lance, when y'all sat down, I'm like, Dad.
I had to take
I didn't want to take the hat off, but I'm like,
But so imagine this in a PD.
Oh man.
Like, we used to lay
I'm
on the
getting
floor, and I'd be like, Kim, stop talking. Like, she'd be like, Kevin, look there. And then but sometimes I got her in trouble, too. It'd be me, too. I'm not even going to hold you. But the fact that we can in this space, be very honest and authentic about our relationship as individuals who make up space and take up space in
Right.
educational, in the educational world. It really means a lot, right? And I can't wait for people to really see this.
It's gonna be good.
And really know that, yo, we got some dope people out here shaping the minds of our young kids, man.
For sure.
And I feel comfortable and I feel secure in the fact that, yo, our baby's gonna be all right as long as we continue to be who we are, right? They're gonna be all right. I have to say thank you. Like from episode 1 to episode 8, she been rocking out. Listen, long days, long nights. I love you more than I could tell you. I appreciate you, guys who have watched this. Thank you so much. Like, this is the close of the first part, but I promise you, season 2 is gonna bring forth a lot of just more.
Well, we here for it. We here for
and I'm
it.
talking about sponsorships.
Ooh,
I'm
we'll
talking
talk
here
about
for
it.
about live recordings. I'm talking
about
about
it.
We here for it.
one friend group meets another friend group.
We
like
here for
living
it.
single versus friends, like who winning type
We
John.
here for
Like
it.
because I just
Who
think
are you,
we
Kev?
Right.
need we need more spaces for us to just be us,
We
right?
do.
And
We
I'm
do.
I'm really dedicated to making that happen. So I thank you guys. Yo, thank you for rocking out with me. It has been a phenomenal journey, and I'm super excited about what's coming next. To my viewers, stay tuned. Don't you dare turn the channel. Like, I mean, you could watch Grey's Anatomy tomorrow, but
Funny.
after that, come back and watch B. All right? And we'll be back for season 2 real soon. Stay tuned. But until then, it is a wrap. I love
Congrats,
y'all.
bro.
Thank y'all.
Congrats.
Yes, sir.
Congrats,
so
bro.
much. Thank y'all so much.